Okay, here we go. I think we have this live here. All right. So hello everyone, and welcome back to Cassie Sews. I have not been here for a very long time. I've been missing in action, and I will tell you why. And there's someone doing construction outside. I can't help that. I have worked really hard to get ready to even do a live for you guys. And so if I wait till that's done, the sun's gonna go down. You know what I mean? So we're gonna do this live. We're gonna press through. And I just thought I'd start off by sharing, like, where have I been? I'm not even sure, I haven't checked when I uploaded to Cassie Sews last, but it's probably 9 months or longer. I mean, a really long time. And if you want to know why, I think I have been on here since we started the new channel to tell you about it. That's how I'm pretty sure it's less than a year. Because on Family Day of 2023, so I think it was February 16th or 19th, somewhere around there of that year, my husband and I started a new channel called Miley and Me. And it's all about our little Sheltie dog and us and the adventures that we go on together. So we've been sharing videos. We even did back videos from when we brought her home as a tiny puppy. And we've been going forward since. The channel's developed into a bit of an adventure channel. We go out on different hikes and everything each week. It's pretty cool. And so really all the time and energy devoted to YouTube has been going there. And that simply is because that's the channel we're trying to grow right now. And the other thing is, it's something my husband and I are doing together. So it works out like once a week, it's like we have a date, right? We go out each Saturday, we do a little hike, we find a trail somewhere or a little hamlet of a city, and we do a hike, and it's pretty cool, right? So we've been working on that. So if you wanted to see any uploads from me on the regular, so if part of why you tune into my channel is you enjoy my company, you can find me over at Miley and Me, M-I-L-E-Y, Miley and Me, anytime you want, right here on YouTube. The other thing is, when it comes to sewing videos, I think you'd have to be a person who's tried to do sewing videos for YouTube to really get the depth of the pain it is to do a sewing video. The thing is, most of the videos on Cassie Sews are very tutorial based, where I'm showing you step by step. First I do this, then I do that, and you know, I'll angle the camera over top of the work so you can see what I'm doing. Suffice it to say, guys, it is just an incredible amount of work to get it done. And then when it came to video editing, my husband couldn't even help with the video edits because he always ended up deleting, as thinking it's useless footage, the very parts I was like, no, that was the most important part that I was like focusing in on and everything like that, right? And so even with the edits, I had to do them myself. So, by the way, if any of you are like leaning in on the chat or anything like that, I have no idea if anyone is watching this live, because I actually have the camera facing me and the screen of the, you know, my cell phone screen isn't even facing me. So I'm not going to be able to interact with you on this one. Maybe I'll get a little better at it. So if you're asking questions or anything, I don't have it. I'll tell you what, I'll just take a look and see if anyone's even watching. One sec. Yes, of course, no one's watching, and that's okay, right? I haven't been around for a long time. It's not like we have some great big following going on here. So anyways, for future ones, maybe I'll flip the camera the other way so I can at least see any questions that are coming up and be able to talk with you guys and interact with you as well. So anyways, basically, as far as Cassie Sews goes, I haven't, between working and, you know, the Miley and Me channel and the rigors of family life and household and everything, I just haven't been able to do this one as well. So, you know, I kind of miss doing the sewing channel as well. I enjoy doing YouTube. It's nice to build community and to interact with people, and you know, YouTube's a great way to do that. So I thought, it's like, okay, well, what if I removed the obstacle of having to take like 60 to 80 video snippets, bring them into an editing software, and get that down, edited into something logical that you guys can follow, that tells a story of a project. And I thought, okay, what if I just do live? So that's what I'm going to do here is, I don't know if it'll be every week or if it'll be every couple of weeks. I honestly, I don't know the timetable on it that I can offer, but I am hoping to touch base with you guys because I do still sew. I have a quilt that I've been working on for a number of months now that's downstairs, so maybe I'll make that like next week or something to share with you where I'm at on that quilt project. I have another alteration I'm doing for my friend's daughter is getting married, and she got this wedding dress. It's basically a wedding dress, and it's kind of fitted. It's not a big billowy thing. It's very svelte, and she wants the train off the back hem so that it's like just barely trailing past her heels, because she's going to use it for an engagement party that she's going to have in June. So I'm going to be working on hemming that and shaping that. I can share some stuff like that with you. And so that's what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to just share live videos. So there won't be any editing, and it's one of those things, if you're interested, you'll stick around and see what I'm doing. And if it's not interesting enough for you, I understand if you feel for some reason you need to carry on and click the next video. The other thing, if I haven't said, every channel is a growing channel. Of course, I hope that one day either this sewing channel or the Miley and Me channel will be monetized by YouTube, and that for all the time and efforts that me and my husband put into videos, that we could get a little kickback with a little bit financial. I know, guys, it takes like forever to earn real big money on YouTube, and most people it's just a little part-time wage. But hey, if it paid a couple of bills or paid a car repair or something a year, that'd be great. So all that to say, please don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. So hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so that every time I'm live, you're going to get a notification about it. And of course, I would welcome any comments that you have below as well. So that wasn't even a pun. I'm going to share with you what I'm up to next. Even though I have the quilt that I'm working on, it's a wedding gift for someone, by the way, which I haven't said. It's a wedding gift for a family member. They're already married. This thing's several months late. Like, it is what it is. But it is going to be really, really lovely, and I'm going to keep putting away at it. And so, why did I share that with you now? Oh, because I'm juggling that and this other project that I'm going to do. And guys, sometimes when you're someone that sews, you just have such an urge to make something for yourself, because that's half the joy of sewing, is for someone in your immediate household or yourself to see that project come to life and to be able to wear it. And let's just talk for a minute about, you know, the joy, the hopes of sewing, right? If you guys are like me, you light up when you walk in a fabric store, because your creative mind awakens, and every fabric you see so many possibilities of what it could be. By all means, different fabrics are decidedly for different projects, right? You're not going to make a blouse out of fun fur, for example. That's a really extreme example, but I think you get the idea. There are lightweight cottons that are made for shirts, and then there's heavier weight cottons that are really intended a little bit more for crafting, and even heavier weight cottons that are like more for tablecloths and stuff. And so even as you see the fabrics in the store, you do know that certain things you look at, well, this is for dresses, that's for suits, you know, dresses and blouses, suits, you know, sporting wear, like there's different, sure, but within that, you look at the fabrics, if you're like me, and you see it's like, that would make a gorgeous blouse. That would make a stunning skirt. Or you have patterns and your mind flips through your mental Rolodex of patterns that you've accumulated that are at home. I've curated a pretty decent collection of patterns. Generally, I wait to buy them on sale. Patterns have become very expensive over the years. And there's also at our local Fabricland, so in Canada, Fabricland is the big fabric chain, the Walmart of fabric stores, if you will, right? That it's in every province, everywhere. And that's where you can get all your purchase paper patterns, and they have, you know, just about everything you could want to shop for. And so at Fabricland, they often have a little sale bin of patterns that they're either discontinued, or I'm not sure how they wind up in there, because sometimes the same pattern is still in the catalog. And you can buy these patterns and they'll be like $2 to $6. None of the pieces are missing. I don't know how they wind up there, but I'll take it. So often I even get patterns on sale from that little sale bin. So I have a pretty good collection of patterns, but I haven't paid that much for them. And so when I hit the fabric store and I'm seeing different fabrics, I'm seeing what's new, or I go in there and I know I'm looking for something for a shirt. And sometimes I get waylaid and buy something else because I start seeing the possibilities and my mind flips through that Rolodex of patterns that I have at home. And I start thinking, this fabric would be so amazing for that. And if it's on sale, often I end up buying it. Now, if you have followed Cassie Sews for any length of time, you would know that I love a bargain. This girl loves a bargain like nobody's business. And it's like, somehow I feel like I'm beating the system somehow when I can get something for half price, less than half price, and it makes me feel so triumphant inside. I don't know if I'm supposed to. I'm not assigning any moral value to it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? All I can tell you is I love finding a bargain. It gets me really excited, and it makes me feel like I won a little in this life, right? So all that to say that when I purchased this pattern, I did get it on sale, I think for like, it was $6.99 or $8.99. It was under $10, whatever it was. Its suggested retail price in USA and Canada is $20.95. So if the pattern is not on sale, it would cost you $20 just to get this pattern. I did not pay that. But where I got the real bargain on this is this fabric here. So this pattern says that you should use a challis, a crepe de chine, a double georgette, a crepe, charmeuse, silk, unsuitable for obvious diagonals. So this is very much like a double georgette type of fabric. I'm sure you can see a little bit, you know, through the light. It's very lightweight. It's a polyester of some sort, guys. It's not silk or anything. But you can see that it's in two pieces. I didn't cut this in half like this to be able to lay out the pattern pieces. I actually bought two separate pieces from the sale bin. So also at Fabricland, they have this bin full of ends, and they roll it up and wrap it with a piece of paper that tells you the dimensions of it, like how many meters it is and how wide, is it 45 or 60 inch wide fabric. And it's usually like a song of a price compared to normal. So let's say that these two pieces of fabric together might have been $20 or $30 to buy. Let's call it $25 for good measure, because a double georgette like this, when it's not on sale at Fabricland, would probably be around $15 a meter Canadian. I got each of these chunks of fabric. They were like $3 or $4 each. I don't even remember now because I had taken the wrapping off of it like a year ago. So I've had this fabric sitting in my stash for like such a long time. And guys, I paid less than $10. It might have been more like $6 for the fabric for this shirt. And it just happens that between the two, because it's like 60 inch wide, I have enough to do this shirt. So I'm going to share with you what I'm working on, and I've already pre-cut the pattern. I've already pre-adjusted it to my, you know, sleeve length and body length, and I've folded all the things back to my size, so that I'm just going to share with you cutting it out while I talk. So here's what we're doing here today. We're doing this Butterick pattern number 6856. Let's just make sure. Oh, there we go. Butterick pattern number 6856. The one I have is in sizes 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. I'm pretty much a perfect size 12. So you can see here on the back for the measurements, for a size 12, a 34-inch bust, 26.5-inch waist, and a 36-inch hip. I definitely have 36-inch hips. I'm more like a 35.5 bust, and my waist, even at the natural waistline, is a little bigger than that, but the shirt has great ease. I had to do very little adjusting. I'm doing blouse A. So you can see there's on blouse A, B, and C. Let me just put on a couple of extra lights there. Oh, maybe that helps. So with blouse A, they all have the exact same neckline that has a loosened V-neck with just a little stand collar. And they all have the option to roll up and fasten at the elbow, right? So the difference other than that is this one has 2 pockets with no flaps. This one has pockets with flaps. And this one's more like a safari type pocket, you know, with the pleat. When you look at the line art on the back of it, so blouse A looks like this. Is going to have a little bit of seams on the back to pull it in. Blouse B has the pocket flaps and absolutely nothing taken in on the back. So I'll have to decide. I'm going to do it like it shows here. And then blouse C, that's a little bit more safari, like it has the epaulettes and a little pleat at the back. In fact, I think, yep, only blouse C has the little epaulettes. So anyways, I'm doing this basic one here in this blue fabric, which whether I wear it with jeans or wear it to the office, honestly, you could do either. People change things up all the time. You know, like for my age, I'm in my 50s. When we were like growing up in the 80s, like I was a teen in the 80s and a young adult in the 90s, people were a little more judicious about like, I can't wear that dress thing with my jeans. That would look weird and people would think I'm weird. People put everything together nowadays. So I feel so much freedom that once I have this made, it should get some good longevity in my wardrobe. So with my 2 pieces, you can see I have laid out here how I'm going to fit everything. But to lay it out properly, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to fold this up so that it's going to be out of the way until, we'll just move that over there, until I have this one cut. And then what I'll do, I'll move this over a wee bit. Let's make sure you can still see it. Oh yeah, plenty. Let me just move the camera here for you guys a little bit. Okay. Let me see if I can bring it even slightly closer for you. Yep. Okay. So that'll do, guys. So here's what we have. So what I have done is both the sleeves and the bodice. I'm a fairly petite person. I'm only 5'2". The average female, I believe, is 5'4". So I mean, I'm not incredibly small, okay, but I am 2 inches shorter than the average. And while that doesn't sound like much, I will say, and every time, if you are just 5'2" like I am, every time you see yourself in a group photo, you're like, wow, look at, am I ever short? I'm the short little one there, right? Advantages of being petite like this. I just wear a size 6 shoe. I can go to shoe sales and almost always it's the size 6s and 5s that are left and the big sizes, right? The size 7s, 8s, and 9s I think are the most common. They sell out first. So sometimes, you know, we can really win when it comes to being a little bit on the shorter side and smaller side because we can get great sales. However, when it comes to fitting clothing, a challenge that you have when you're just 5'2" or even less is that usually things are a little bit too long. So I'm just going to show you that what I've done here is I did use the lengthen or shorten area here, and I folded it up from the line that said waistline, and I simply folded it up to match that double line there. So that was how I shortened both pieces of the bodice and know that I have the exact same length taken off of both. The sleeve I actually had to shorten there and there to get it short enough that when I pinned the tissue paper cuff into place. I think it'll land about there on me, so not terribly short, but yeah, you can tell the pattern is made to try and accommodate all heights and all weights, and you know, when you purchase a sewing pattern, that is something that you have to bear in mind, that if you're not the standard average height, you should be adjusting your tissue paper pattern at least a little bit. So I have this here. I pre-pressed my fabric. If it was 100% cotton fabric, I would probably be looking at pre-washing it as well. But this is, like I said, guys, this double georgette is basically, it's a polyester type fabric. It's also basically the same on both sides. You know what I mean? There isn't, with this particular weave of fabric, there isn't really a right side or a wrong side to the fabric. So I've already folded everything back to the size 12. So this is what I do. You see here how you've got like your size 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. I have everything just folded back to the size 12. And I know that some people, they'll just cut the patterns to whatever size they are, and their logic is, who else is going to use it but me? And I understand that. However, because I've mentioned, you know, patterns are kind of expensive, right? And they're just going to continue to increase in price, not go down in price. My thinking on it is, first of all, what if I gain weight? I've done it. I have yo-yoed up and down, you know, the same sort of like 10 or 15 pounds that most of us do in our life. And I have had times that I was even like, I think a couple of years back, I was almost 30 pounds heavier than I am now. So I'm really happy. I still have to like get some muscle back and get into shape, but I am at my correct weight and BMI for my height now. So thank goodness for that. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about gaining back some muscle strength and shape, right? But you know, it's like, what if you gain weight and you still want to reuse these patterns? If you cut off the size you need, well, then you're gonna have to go buy the pattern again. So anyways, that's my logic on it. Also, you know, whether it's one of my kids or, you know, if I have a daughter-in-law one day and anything like that, like what if someone inherits my sewing patterns? Wouldn't it be nice if all the posted sizes on the envelope are still available? So that's why I do it the way I do. Okay, so now then, I already have my pins. I already pre-folded everything so that while I'm chit-chatting with you, you know, I'm just gonna lay this out. So this back piece is place one on fold. This fabric was cut really pretty straight, so I don't actually have to compensate very much at all for, you know, a crooked, you know, anything like that. So this is what we're gonna do here, is we're just gonna start attaching the fabrics onto here. I'm gonna pin them down and then we'll cut it out, and that's gonna be today's live video. So while we're doing this, why don't you guys tell me, what sort of things do you like to sew? Just throw something in the comments and tell me, you know, if you sew, what's your motivator for sewing? Do you do it to save money? Do you do it to make something really creative that you can't find in the stores? You know, or is there another reason? Like sometimes people have to sew because they're a really unique size. I once had a little sewing business. Don't you always hate when you have this place one on fold and it never quite, maybe that's my fabric, hold on. So when my kids were preschoolers, I had this idea that I was going to do a sewing business so that I could work from home and, you know, make money so that, you know, don't we all try and do that? Do it all, be it all, right? And so I started this little sewing business, and so I went to my local Fabricland and I talked to a lady at the cash register, and you know, I was in there all the time anyway. She saw me there all the time. She was a very regular customer, and I told her that it's like, I'm trying to start this business, you know, to support my family, earn a little bit of money. This girl, I wish I could remember her name to give her credit now. She was so absolutely golden to me. She promoted, I left business cards. They actually allowed me, this is in the days of, you know, the early 2000s when people would actually let you still do something like put your business cards at the cash register when you're not actually directly involved with that giant retail chain. That would never happen now, but it did then. And so she kept my business card by the cash register. And I don't know if you guys know this, but oftentimes there are people who go to a fabric store because they want something for a costume or a special event. And, you know, they're like, I wish I knew someone who sews because I'd like to get this thing done and I needed a sewist, right? So this girl, bless her heart, she would promote me all the time. By the way, you always want to get a ruler or a measuring tape, and when you're laying out something in the middle, you're going to want to measure over to your selvage edges. That's like 8.5 inches. That's like spot on. So while I have that there, I keep my fingers on it, and we're just going to add a pin. So anyways, I'll carry on with my story now. As you guys could hear, this girl would promote me, you know, in particular to people who didn't necessarily sew, but they're like, do you know anyone, you know, do you have a connection to a sewist? We used to call it seamstress back in the day, but I don't know when we started calling it sewist, but I have learned that that is what people often call it now. And so she would send all these people my way. And you guys probably know that, like, sewing was a little bit time consuming, right? It takes a lot of time and effort to do. And so in a nutshell, I had more business than I could keep up with. But what I learned through that business was that generally, the only people that want you to sew for them are either, like, they all have a unique figure problem. I would have people come to me that were so impossibly thin and tiny that they're like, everything hung off them in the stores. They couldn't get anything to fit. So they were easier to work with, right? So I'm sizing down patterns. But then I'd also have the people come to me who, you know, they were very large, and, you know, so they needed some help because they couldn't really find clothing in the store for the opposite reason. So I have a funny story I'm going to share with you guys while I'm pinning this down to cut out. So with my little sewing business, and, you know, I had this woman come to me, and, you know, she was, you know, kind of large. She was very petite in height. You know, she was maybe shorter than me even. But she was round enough, right? Her arm was the measurement of my thigh. You know what I mean? So she was definitely a bit of a larger lady. And I'm gonna say a name here that I don't know if you guys are, I think you gotta be a certain age to get this, but do you guys know what a moo-moo is? So back in the, I think this is very 1960s, which is before I was born, there was these dresses in the 60s and 70s that the other name you would have for them, they call it a house dress. But anyways, a moo-moo is usually 100% cotton, floral print, and really nothing to write home about. A moo-moo is shapeless, like it hangs from your shoulders basically, right? Straight down, and that's about all there is to it. So try and picture, if you will, you're making a dress, or you're having a dress made, and it has, you know, a yoke around here, and then, you know, past the yoke, everything is just gathered and it hangs. And this lady would give me a hard time and say, can you add more shape? Can't you make it look more shapely? And, you know, I was too polite to say, I wanted so bad to say, have you looked what you're asking me to sew? It's like, it is a shapeless dress, right? And, you know, so I would try and take in the sides a little. This is the same lady, you know, with the large arms that it's like, what waistline am I carving out? She had no waistline to carve it, right? So anyways, that was probably my most entertaining, funny story from the sewing business days, was this lady wanting me to add shape to a house dress, a muumuu dress that, I don't know why they call them muumuus, by the way. It has nothing to do with a cow, maybe because they were so shapeless, I don't know. But anyways, it is a funny name, so that's my funny story there. Hope I'm doing a good job of filling the talking time here, and hopefully my live video isn't too insanely long for you guys. But this is what I thought we would do, right? So I'm going to carry on doing this little video share for you guys. And next, I'm just going to move this up a little. So all that I'm cutting out today, guys, is just the fabric parts of this. When you cut out stuff to sew, if you're a sewist, you would know that you also have to cut out any applicable facings, interfacings, right, that you're going to use. And then there's all these markings that, you know, you use for matching up. So when I do my markings, I did take a course, it was like a college course on weekends type thing, so I don't know if it was ever gonna, I think if I did all the courses I would have earned a certificate, but I never did finish all the courses because it was all the way over in Scarborough, Ontario, and I was the other side of the GTA in Brampton, and so I think I just found it a long way to go. And so I didn't really stick with that. And anyways, I did learn in that course a cool way that you can do your markings. Ooh, that's a nice, oops, I did that move. I learned a cool way that you can do your markings. It's pretty much 10. Yep, so once again, you see you get the tape measure, guys, and you're gonna wanna always make sure you're measuring so that you're straight on the grain when you're placing your items. If you don't take the time to make something straight on the grain, it's not going to hang right when you sew it, right? So I do know that this is relatively inexpensive fabric, and another thing people might argue for is, you know, if you're going to take the time to sew, buy the nicest fabric that your money can afford, because it takes a long time to make a garment, and you might as well make sure you do it with nice fabric. But I'm okay with this, you know, not too expensive fabric. So anyways, if you gotta mark something, what you can do is you take your pin and you can put it right through the little circles or the little arrows, and then that way, when you turn it the other way, the same way you can see where the pin comes out, you can take your pen and you make the mark right around where the pin is coming out, and that way it ensures that before you unpin this, your markings for matching on your cut tube are in the identical place on each side of the fabric. So it is a pretty cool little thing that you can do. So this color, as you can see, it's a beautiful, soft, powder blue, ice blue, whatever you would like to call it. And I do plan to wear it probably mostly with jeans. Nowadays, we all get to dress fairly casual when we go to the office, and my place of business is no exception to that. Business casual is completely fine, and so I do find what most of us ladies tend to do is we will, you know, get dressed in, we'll put jeans with everything, right? And it's just because it's convenient, it's comfortable. That's what we want to do. So, I'm just going to straighten that out. This is such a little piece. I've done one measurement. I'm happy with that. All right, so this is what I'm working on, guys. You can see that this blouse will take me into spring or summer. In the winter time, I can certainly wear it with a sweater layered over top of it, and you know, a little camisole underneath. So there's definitely ways to add warmth to this and make it something that you could use all year round. but it will be very pretty. And with the sleeves that can roll up and button up at the elbows, you know, it just really brings a versatility to this outfit or to this shirt, right? So I think it'll go with lots of outfits. I am a blue girl. I love blue, is my favorite color. And interestingly, almost quite specifically, navy blue. If I go to a store and I can choose something to wear and I see navy blue, I'm probably going to go for navy blue first. So it's not that everything in my wardrobe is navy blue, but I do have my share of navy blue items in my wardrobe. So that's kind of fun. And let me see, what else can I share with you guys while I'm cutting out? You can see that I do take the time to make sure everything is straight, and there's a little bit of extra space between things, but once again, I did not pay a lot of money for the fabric. I have another whole chunk, and the leftovers from this, it won't be enough to make something else. This is the stuff that it turns into scraps. Sometimes I just throw scrap fabric in the garbage after a while. Some people do what we call making cabbage, which is where you can you shred it up, and then you can use all the shredded fabric like a stuffing. So before I lay out the second half of this, we have the first chunk of this laid out, and we'll just double check here. Cut two, and two of interfacing. Cut two, cut two. This one would be up center back fold, so it's cut one on fold. There we go. And cut two. And cut four. Okay, so it's a good thing I have enough space to make sure I have enough space. I'm actually going to take this piece off because I can do it on the next one if I have to. Okay, before I do that, I'm just going to measure this. See, this is why we check, right? You ever heard the saying, measure twice, cut once? So this is 2 1/4 inches wide. So indeed, I'm going to be able to lay another one out without coming near that. I don't have to. Yeah, so we're going to do it that way. Now then, I have 2 sets of scissors, guys. You see it says a box full of inspiration. These are the LDH scissors, which is, what did that stand for now? Love designed, oh, I forget now what it's like, love by design, or, anyways. These scissors are designed, I believe, and made in Japan. I think they were like designed here in Canada and they're manufactured in Japan. They are absolutely beautiful. So my mom always is such a sweetheart, and she supports my sewing and everything. So she has gifted me with both the 10-inch and the 8-inch scissors. I think for cutting this out, the 10-inch would be a little bit of overkill. When you're cutting out larger things, especially heavier fabrics, the bigger scissors can be very handy. But for a little bit more control, a little less shifting of the fabric, we're going to go with our 8-inch ones here, just making sure there's no lint on them. And I love that it's like a gunmetal gray on black, right? It's pretty cool. Okay. So here we go. Before we lay out the second half, we are going to cut this out. Oops. Okay, so here we go. So now we're going to cut it out. Oftentimes, what I will do for some control, especially when I have space between the items like this, is I will just cut it away from the other stuff first. So you see, I go like this. Now that I have that done like that, we're just going to slide all this over here, and now I can just work on this piece. So do you guys do wardrobe planning? What sort of planning do you do in your wardrobe? I'm trying to curate a better wardrobe for myself. I think like most people who are busy and work, I've become a real jeans and t-shirt kind of gal. When I work from home, it's yoga pants and t-shirt all the way. And honestly, guys, there is so much pretty clothes and fashion to be had out there that I can't imagine why we keep it so basic and simple. There is a YouTuber that I watch called Ask Charlie, and she does all like homemaking and stuff like that. And I like her style. I like her fashion style. So if you want to see the sort of things I like, you could go check out that YouTube channel, Ask Charlie. Basically, guys, I am a sucker for British fashions. I like the English countryside aesthetic is very much what I'm after and trying to build into my wardrobe. And one of the things I've noticed that many people with the English country aesthetic do is they wear shirts. They wear button-down shirts and stuff. They don't just wear knitwear all the time. Or it's like, sure, they'll put like a knitwear, like a sweater, or even a polar fleece type gilet over top of something. But they're not just walking around in jeans and a t-shirt like I am all the time. And I will note that here I am doing a video talking about fashion and curating and building my wardrobe, and I'm still wearing the same old standbys. So there we have one piece cut out. Once I have my pieces cut out, I always just very gently fold it, giving way for the pins, and then we'll just move that out of the way. And now we'll cut out another piece. So anyways, what I'm saying here is my goal, which would be fun to share with you guys as part of my journey, is to continue to build this English countryside aesthetic into my wardrobe. I did share with you guys a year and a half ago, I bought some cool stuff to make a knockoff version of a Zimmermann dress, and I still have that pattern, I still have that fabric, I still want to revisit that, haven't got to it yet. But I think I just wanted the encouragement of something simple like a shirt here that, in a couple of weeks' time, if I put away at it, I should be able to have this done. So that's the deal. I'm just going to cut out some more here. I always try to cut as close as possible to the edges, try and be as accurate as possible. The more accurate your cutting is, guys, the better your sewing is going to go. So you just want to make sure that you're doing that. I'm also thinking, guys, that this live video here might be coming incredibly long. And I don't know, maybe you don't actually want to watch me finish cutting out the whole thing. I think you get the idea here. I don't know, we'll give it a few more minutes and I'll let you know if I'm going to just end this video and turn it off here or not. There might also be a certain satisfaction to seeing the whole thing cut out, even just appreciating how long it actually takes to do this stuff. If you were there for me to interact with in person, you could tell me what you think. Let's see if anyone's there. No, of course not. Like I said, guys, I haven't been promoting this channel for ages, so I'm not surprised there isn't anyone here watching my live, and that's fine. It's still a touch to the channel. It's still a little hello to you guys. How long have I been on camera here? Oh, goodness. Okay, so I've been on camera for 45 minutes, so here's what we'll do. We'll give this another 15 minutes, so we're probably not going to get the whole thing cut out on camera for you. But I think, once we hit an hour on a video, that's probably more than enough time, and it'll be time to shut this down. So, another interesting thing I could share with you when it comes to sewing is my mother-in-law gave me a smocking machine. So So a smocking machine, it is just like, it's a device, right? Do you remember in the old days in the office, the plastic coil bounds that you'd like hole punch the stuff and you put the little plastic thing and you could do your own self-bound booklets, right? It looks a lot like that. It looks a lot like one of those machines, but it is for smocking. And through that channel that I watch, Ask Charlie, I found she was wearing this gorgeous smocked blouse, and it is from a company called London Smock. So you could go to londonsmock.com and you would discover that smocking isn't just for babies and children. They have on this website some absolutely stunning blouses for women to wear. They also make smocked dresses and smocked nightgowns, and they even had just one or two little home decor things. They have some smocked Christmas stockings and some really cute smocking that goes around lampshades. So that'll be a future project that I also will look forward to sharing with you guys at some point, is working on the smocking. That would make for a really interesting video, and so hopefully I'm going to be able to share some of that with you guys as well. But that's about it. So I'm just going to keep cutting. I'm just trying to think, guys, if there's anything else I could share with you. Oh, I guess something I can address for anyone who was watching my channel with any regularity before. You remember the gingham series? I finished that gingham dress, and I have been wearing that gingham dress from time to time as well. It turned out really good. It looks really professional, really pretty. I was pleased with the results of what I did. But I don't think I ever got to finish the gingham series online. And once again, this just comes down to that bit about everything being, you know, so incredibly detailed with sewing. I think even this live video really drives home that it's like, imagine me trying to film, you know, so I'd stop the camera and I'd angle it over so you could see me pinning stuff, and then, you know, I'd move the camera again and I'd angle stuff so you could see me cutting this out, and, you know, then all the step by step by step. And so with that gingham series, I was trying to do two things at once. One thing I was trying to do was do this whole informational series all about gingham. I do find gingham a really fascinating fabric in that it really is used both casual and in some slightly dressier clothing. Gingham is made in various fabrics, with cotton, 100% cotton being the go-to, but it's certainly not the only thing. The gingham dress that I made, that I was sharing with you guys on the series, you could certainly look through my channel and find some of the stuff on that. And there was some footage on one of the videos where you see me modeling the dress outside in the field. You see me wearing the finished dress. So somewhere on my YouTube channel, there is footage of me wearing the finished dress. So anyways, I was trying to make it an informational series as well as a how-to step-by-step. So I was trying to share with you how I made this shirt dress step-by-step, and I had actually combined two patterns because I wanted the shirt top, you know, to have a shirt dress, but I wanted a way longer skirt than what the shirt dress pattern came with, a skirt that ended like just above the knee. And I'm like, no, I want something long and flowy. So I took the skirt pattern off of another pattern, made sure the waistlines on the two lined up, that they matched, and I attached them together and made the dress that I have. So it truly is unique, one of a kind. And with that gingham dress, I added white satin piping on the sleeves that, again, I handmade it, I hand cut it, the whole bit. Yeah, so it did turn out nice, but I do apologize. All that to say, I'm not gonna revisit that series and record anything more on it. whatever's on the channel, it's just going to have to be it. And of course, that does, once again, come down to the fact that time only permits for so much. Right, so there we go. Anyone who's watching this video, when you see it, the date today is Sunday, March 23rd of 2025. So, you know, in Canada, here in Southern Ontario, we are getting ready for spring in the biggest way. I took the dog for a walk today, and the weather app said that it was -1, but when I got out there, I actually didn't even need my winter gloves, and you know, I was kind of bundled up. I had on you know, a sweater, my winter parka, a scarf. I was pretty bundled up, but in any event, it was actually a really nice, pleasant walk out there today. So when we look at, you know, what's going on in the area around here, everyone's gearing up for spring and summer, and that's where cutting out a nice, flowy, lightweight blouse like this is just in step with what's coming up in the season. So I can't wait to make this and share it with you guys. And other live videos that I'm going to do, like I do like to cut out up here in the kitchen because it's natural lighting, so it's very nice. You know, sometimes it's just nice to not always be in the basement away from the family. But when I'm actually sewing and pressing and doing all the pretty much any other part of sewing except for this, I will be in the basement. So the lighting isn't as amazing down there, but I can still find a way to share a live video with you guys. And, you know, we'll go back to sharing some sewing projects with you guys along the way, that way as well. So, yeah, I've been talking my ear off here, talking your ear off, talking my face off, as the saying goes. Getting this all cut out. Oh, I don't think I need to fold it that much. Alrighty, we're down to this. I could fold this and like try and cut all 4 layers at once, but experience has taught me, guys, that that's not wise. And the reason why is, you ever heard the concept that matter cannot occupy the same space? Well, exactly, right? So if you layer your fabrics too much and you try and cut them, you just can't help the fact that it shifts under the pressure of the scissors. So if you want to cut multiple layers of something, you would have to do it the way a shirt maker does it. Do you guys know how a traditional shirt maker, I mean, we're talking like, you know, in a tailoring shop or a bespoke shop, do you guys know how they actually cut out shirts? They have a knife that it almost looks like a cheese knife. It's curved on the end. It is as sharp as a razor blade, and they can layer up to 6 to 8 layers. I think it is. It depends on the thickness of the fabric, of course. And they'll apply a pressure on the top of the pattern that they're doing. So where my fingers are, they'll put a weight or something, and they like literally drag that blade down and cut it out. So it is quite a neat technique, but you just have to think through that when you're using scissors, whether you like it or not, this is just the science of how matter works, right? There's always going to be a certain degree of shifting. So when we're cutting out, see, I don't even like, I got a little bit of space here. Let's trim that up. There we go. So when you're cutting out something with scissors, if it's very fine like what I'm cutting out here today, the amount of shift is going to be very minimal, and we're not installing windows or baseboards here that something has to be really exact. Actually, I watched someone install windows once and they use that foam filler, but I think you get the idea. You know, there is a tolerance, I guess is what I'm trying to say. There is a certain tolerance when we're cutting out our patterns by hand and sewing them. You know, it's not being piece worked really quickly in a factory. It is being hand sewn with love and care at home. And so, you know, your 2 layers together cut with your scissors will be just fine. But this is why, I hit the pattern a little. This is why Guys, you don't want to be cutting out 4 or 5 layers or whatever of fabric. I just hit it again. This is getting challenging here, this long skinny piece. Anyways, I think you get the idea. You don't want to be cutting out several layers together. It will shift, and then you'll just end up, none of those pieces will quite be good enough for you to use, and you'll be frustrated. Okay, so I do have one more to cut out here. Let's just take a look at our camera time. Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna bring the chair back over here for a minute. Okay guys, so we are at 55 minutes of me talking and cutting out, but I hope if you cared to, join in, you got to know me a little bit more, and you got to watch my, little step-by-step process of cutting something out. I'm gonna lay that across there, cut out one more, and then remember this folded piece of fabric is the sleeve, the yoke, and like a couple of other parts. But I think this video has gone on plenty long enough. I think you get the idea here. Once my pieces are cut out, I very carefully fold them up like this and keep them all together. And when I sew, as soon as I remove a tissue paper pattern piece, like if I'm done the markings, it immediately goes back in the envelope, wherever my envelope is. It immediately goes in the envelope. I'm a hound for taking care of the pattern, making sure you don't lose the pieces. If you just leave your tissue paper piece to the side or whatever while you're sewing, it's so easy for it to get torn or lost. And I do have a really nice dress pattern downstairs that one of the front panels of the princess seam thing was missing, and I had to manually draw it out and try and match the neckline. It was really challenging. It took me a really long time. And when I initially discovered that piece missing, I was kind of devastated, right? So this is why, be really careful with your pattern pieces. Be a neat sewer. Take care of yourself. Anyways, there it is, guys. I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by to Cassie Sews, and thanks for listening to me natter and just share with you what I've been up to a little bit. Well, I don't know if I told you tons of what I'm up to. I told you all about the other channel. And yeah, that I'm gonna make a blouse, and I've got a couple of other sewing projects I'm balancing. And so while we can't juggle it all, I'm at least gonna try and come to you guys in some live videos. So if you took the time, you're actually still here and watched this crazy long video to the end, I just wanna say thank you so very much for watching to the end. And thanks for hanging out with me here at Cassie Sews. We'll see you again in a week or two. Take care, guys. Bye.